Hello and welcome to We the People. From the world's greatest woman athlete, Serena Williams, to one of the world's most successful entertainers, Lady Gaga, to the average man on the street, a 58-year-old policeman whose photograph went viral on Twitter during the Mumbai civic polls, to new mothers like Kareena Kapoor. We've all been victim of it and perhaps even been guilty of doing it. I'm talking about the weighty issue of body shaming, the action or practice of humiliating someone by making critical comments about their body, shape, size or color. And today on We the People, we are asking, has this gone too far? Ruchita Divekar is the Mumbai-based fitness expert. You all may know her as a dietitian and nutritionist for Kareena Kapoor. Ruchita, you just held a Facebook Live event with Kareena Kapoor at the launch of your new book, and which has gotten over 1 million views on Facebook. Kareena Kapoor, our audience, unless you've been living under a rock, you will know she's just delivered a baby. Ruchita, at that event, Kareena said that she had just delivered 45 days after the birth. She went out somewhere and people were commenting that she is so overweight. Why is she going out? Ruchita, you know, Kareena laughed it off, but have we gone too far? After having a baby, most mothers need to go out. They should be encouraged to go out. And if they are some of the few who have the luxury and the support of parents and in-laws and childcare, then they should take a mental breather. They should go for a movie, take a walk. Has this all gone too far?
Well, I think, now that we have so much in the social media and you can get clicked anywhere and, people have the freedom to comment. For an actor like Kareena, it's natural. She has learned to take it in her stride for the longest time. But I do think that it has affected regular people in a very weird way, especially college girls, because I see most Facebook pictures or Instagram pictures with the duck face or the pout. People actually know, who are non-actors, they know what profile is better, they know how to stand for a picture, they're constantly worried about looking thin. I think that really needs to be looked at. For actors, they know how to deal with it, they've been constantly commented on, and I think they just take it with a pinch of salt.
So that's actors, but the pressure must really be quite intense, right? In your chat, Kareena admits that she came to you in a panic, saying that just put me on the Tushan diet, which we all know you famously made her a size 0. But you said no, it seems. You said this needs to be done right. This needs to be done in a healthy, a scientific manner. Otherwise, there will be medical repercussions that she'll be dealing with for an entire lifetime. But like you said, not everybody is from Bollywood. And that means not everybody has the kind of support that Bollywood stars do. So you must be getting clients who are also coming to you wanting extreme results.
Yeah, of course, and I guess that's where you need to seek out a professional's help, because the step one is essentially to educate your client, whether one is a client or a college-going student or simply a software professional. Everyone likes to look thin, everyone wants to be in great shape, and everyone has those little moments of panic where you feel like, am I ever going to get back in my prime shape post-pregnancy? I guess that's exactly where the credibility of the professional that you're working with counts. And if you do anything really crash, then it does come back to haunt you, whether it's in the form of hypothyroidism or sacro-obesity or even lifestyle diseases like diabetes, heart diseases and cancer. So it's always about looking at the big picture, getting back in shape a step at a time, and not really crashing your way through it, because it's not about how you look like the next week, but it's actually about how you look like for the rest of your life.
And that's what Sonam Kapoor had pointed out. She wrote a blog where she talked about body shaming famously, and she said she lives with acidity because she did a lot of crazy things trying to lose weight in the first time before she was going in for her first film. And we saw even with Aishwarya Bachchan, she had a baby in 2011. She's considered to be one of the most beautiful women in the world. After her baby, she went to Cannes and she wore this gorgeous dress and a few extra pounds, and she was hounded by fashion critics for that. Now, as Ruchita says, perhaps the film industry is different, right? Because there are different standards, different criteria for them, because it's an industry where your face is your fortune, and as perhaps we should say increasingly now, even your body is your fortune. But is this now becoming the norm in other industries? We have someone here. You work in radio, is that correct?
Yep, I do.
So tell us your name, and you're not on TV, you're not in films, no, but you still struggle with body issues. Why is that?
I'm Tanzila, and I think that's because everybody, it's not just because you're getting a picture click that you need to look thin or whatever, but it's because how the society conditions you right from the moment you learn how to speak or anything. It's always about how you're going to look, whether you're going to be eligible for certain things, and that is what brings about a lot of body image
What
issues.
do you mean, like jobs?
Obviously not a job. I mean, maybe a job as well at some point, but you're not going to find someone who's going to love you because you don't look a certain way, whether it's you're dark or too thin or too fat, whatever, all of these things. And yes, even at a certain level, what I've really observed lately is that even in the workspace, how you look is suddenly kind of a topic. People discuss this, oh, you know, this person doesn't really, you know, take care of themselves. It's like a nice way of saying it. You don't take care of yourself, where you're basically just telling the other person, you don't dress up or you don't look the size that we think is acceptable in the society.
And you think it affects your job, the output of your job?
Yes, so at certain levels, not mine per se, but I've seen that how, oh, this girl looks like really sloppy, so she must not be good at her work. And definitely it's more for women than for men, because a man can come in wearing like the same t-shirts 5 days in a row and it still be like, man, he must be really hardworking. Whereas a woman, she doesn't take care of herself. She doesn't really know what she is doing. जब कपड़े ही ठीक से नहीं पहन सकती तो काम क्या ठीक से करेगी?
So always different standards for men and women. That's a really good point to bring up straight up front. Pooja, let's ask you a little bit about that. Your daughter was trolled horrifically after she posted some pictures on social media of her in shorts and a bikini. She was called a slut. She was termed as, you know, ready for the porn industry and things like that. And she, of course, was only 18, but had the confidence. And I'm assuming that that was because she had parental support and she had an emotional ecosystem backing her to be brazen about it and say, you know, buzz off. And she wrote a blog which she called it, I am more than my breasts. In that she said, and I quote, it is a strange world we live in where wearing a bikini is more frowned upon than being hateful and tearing other individuals down. She says it's not okay to hate. You're allowed your opinion, your values and your beliefs. I respect your choices and who you are. I deserve the same. I wouldn't judge or disrespect a woman in a burqa, a salwar kameez or a sari, and I deserve the same respect back. Alia says that she was brought up with only one expectation, that she's a good person, that she's caring and kind to other people. Body shaming in a playground is fine, we've all used to it. There are 10 people there, 10 kids there, but when it happens on social media, it is magnified by millions.
The thing is, whether it's a playground or whether it's on social media, it's equally hurtful, because in a playground they're your friends, and in a much larger context, social media, they're strangers. So it's even worse to be actually body shamed by your friends and people that you're close to and who love you and people that you trust and interact with on a daily basis. It's probably even worse because you have to deal with them on a daily basis, thinking these people think this of me. Having said that, I grew up in a very, very liberated, open, bohemian, flower power generation. My mother streaked naked on the beach, post 2 children, just to say that it's my body, it's my life, and I'm not ashamed of my body, and I will not cater to societal conventions of what they think a body should look like. I'm free, you know, and I grew up with these lovely thoughts and ideas. So for me, for example, growing up in an environment where I used to wear a bikini, and people say, oh my God, she's wearing a bikini. This is way back then, you know, like 30 or 35 years ago. Yes, I wore a bikini and I was very comfortable in a bikini, and that was my natural habitat to wear a bikini. Now, for a lot of people to get into a bikini would have been a huge stigma of sorts. So there I am, get thrown into the industry as a sex symbol, because that's all now you're good for. Okay, that's the role you're going to play, because heroines will not wear a bikini. Heroines will not play that role. You know, so there's a divide between good girl and bad girl. And if you choose to expose your body, you are the bad girl. And if you choose to then play demure, you're a good girl.
For men and women, and within women, different standards for different types of women too.
Absolutely, that's one aspect of it. And then I give birth to a daughter who's now out there, living her life again on the same terms and conditions as my mother, as me, and now she's like the 3rd generation who basically believes in living life on her own terms and conditions. And what's really wonderful, I think, about my mother, me and Ali, if I may, you know, praise myself to you in the process, is that we stand up for what we believe in, and we empower others to actually love themselves and live with themselves and not live with shame and guilt and all those negative associations that come with just loving your body.
But you mentioned your mom and her streaking. What was the reaction from the press and the public then? Is it just that we now have social media and in the past we didn't, so there was no reaction? Or is it that over the years and the decades we've become more moralistic as a society?
No, I think back then it was equally horrifying crying for society is that they didn't react, or we didn't know of their reactions, let's just put it that way, because on social media, you get direct feedback. Today in social media, it's open to millions of people. So you get direct feedback across millions of people across the world. So whether it's in India, whether it's a Kim Kardashian who does something, or a sex tape that's leaked to somebody else, there's instant repercussions, feedback, and all that comes directly at you on an immediate basis. So there's judgment being thrown in, and then reactions to judgments being thrown in, and then all of a sudden you're in this whirlpool of reaction and judgment, and some of it good and some of it bad, and sometimes you go with the flow, sometimes it's anti-you, sometimes it's pro-you. My daughter will stand up and speak up for herself, and she gets this mammoth viral following that just loves and adores her for just speaking up and standing up for not just herself, but womankind, for your body, for the right to love your body. When you wear something that's beautifully cut, or you love your body and you show it off, it's not a shameful thing to do. And that's essentially, I think, what Alia spoke up for, was the right to love your body no matter what form or shape it's in. And
all right, there was something that she said in her blog that really struck out to me. She said, "I'm more than my breasts. It is unfair to sexualize me and base my morals, achievements, goals, ambitions, my academic, extracurricular accomplishments, awards on them." Okay, so you're a mother, but you're also from the industry, right? So Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, she was a brand ambassador of one of the leading sponsors of Cannes. She had a responsibility. She had a contract, I'm assuming, that said that she would need to show up and she needed to look fantastic. Should she just have, you know, skipped Cannes for that year, or should she
look fantastic just because she has a few extra pounds? You can look absolutely fabulous like Oprah does on all her shows with all the extra pounds, and be powerful and be a powerhouse of talent and all of that, and that doesn't take it away from you. A few pounds does not take away from the essence of you, all that you've accomplished in all the decades of work, you know, your intelligence, your charisma, your personality. A few pounds cannot take that away from you.
All right, the audience obviously likes what you said, but is there another side to this story? Remember, India is the third most obese country in the world. More than 15 million children are estimated to be overweight in urban India. The prevalence of obesity amongst 13 to 18-year-olds has grown from 16 to 29%. And the irony, of course, is that we also have high rates of child undernutrition and stunting, but now we also have rates of childhood obesity in urban areas that are rising rapidly. Let's go across to somebody else who's from the industry, Dilip Tahil. Dilip, you know, we know that Bollywood is a big influencer in India on the youth today. And we've seen our Bollywood stars go from flab to fit over the past few decades. Why is that not the right influence to have on youngsters? Especially, we're talking about youngsters over the past few years. We say they're couch potatoes, they eat junk food, they're eating all wrong. What's wrong if there's an onus on looking good, being fit and being thin in Bollywood today?
No, I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, I think in fact it's setting a good example to actually put the message out there that you want to improve, you care for the way you look, and you want to do something about your appearance. Since you're a movie star, you're a movie actor, you also want to look at fitness and you know, that aspect of it, the right kind of diet and things. So I think that's a good example. However, when you talk about body shaming, it's called body shaming today, but unfortunately it's existed for hundreds of years. People have always commented on people's physicalities, which I don't agree with at all. I feel people ought to be much more sensitive about comments, marks they make about anybody, men or women, thin, fat, 2 left feet, whatever. I don't think that people should come out there and comment about people's physicality. Having said that, it always troubles me that part of body shaming, as I mentioned earlier, is also the fact that it reflects on a society when we don't have facilities that are adequate for people who we call specially challenged, or people who have certain aspects about people on wheelchairs. Let's come to the facts. People on wheelchairs, when they come to cinema theaters and other places, there aren't enough facilities. For me, that is the worst kind of body shaming ever. And I think as a society, we need to understand that there are different needs and that there are certain sensitivities that we need to look at.
Let me go across to Vikram Baidyanath. He's the CEO of the Baidyanath Group, which is an Ayurvedic pharmaceutical industry. And Vikram, you know, there still is, no matter what you say, there is a discipline and a determination that is needed in order to look a certain way. And studies in the US and the UK have shown that people who look good or who are attractive, whatever your definition of attractive is, right or wrong, earn better, they do better at work. Given that there's so much that needs to go into it, is that wrong, or is that
No,
not
I feel that
understandable?
why should body shaming always be taken in the wrong sense? Why? For me, body shaming is like fire. The same fire that can burn you irreparably and damage you can also be used very productively if handled carefully.
It's like tough love that's
Yes,
needed.
absolutely. My mother, there was a time when I was very skinny, and I want to say it on national TV that my mother said to me that you are so skinny that you look sick. Go and get a blood test done. Make sure that you are okay. Did I take it badly? No, I took it very well. I decided to put on some weight. I decided to go to the gym. I decided to work out. So I took body shaming very well. When I was in school, I was told that I was very, very, very skinny. People said to me that if we just touch you, you'll probably fly away. I took that very well. Body shaming need not be a bad thing. We all have preconceived notions about body shaming. Oh, body shaming, horrible. No, it depends on how you take it.
But as Pooja points out, this is your mom, and we know all moms, especially Indian moms, love their betas. If no matter what she says to you, she loves you. You can't take it to heart. And your friends, as Pooja points out, isn't it different today when you have a social network and you have thousands of people commenting on you?
But if there is something that you are lacking, or something that is not, that can be fixed, and you can fix it. It's not difficult to fix it. And somebody is pointing it out to you. Why do you have to get so offended? Why can't you just tell yourself, which is what I did when even other people told me that I'm too skinny for my own good? Why can't you just tell yourself that I am going to fix it? And it's easy to fix it.